All right here, Monday through Friday on FS1.
Car shopping's confusing. A lot of terms. Dealer price, list price, invoice. Here's what's not. TrueCar.com. New or used, save $3,000 off MSRP. Well, he's a Super Bowl champ. Played a decade and a half, just shy of that. Multiple Pro Bowls. 8th-round draft pick who overachieved and became an all-time great for the Philadelphia Eagles. Seth Joyner is joining us. Before I get into rolling my eyes at Philadelphia, big dynasty over there, let's start with this. Chargers have a real defense. They're on the road tonight. The hottest teams in this league, you can make an argument, are the Bears with defense, the Cowboys with defense, Baltimore's playing really good with defense, the Chargers, Seattle. You're not surprised because you said and told me before that September, Ryan Fitzpatrick tears the league up in September. What happens around Thanksgiving? What happens in late October to change it and make it a defensive first league?
Well, I think that as you look at the league, every year you've got major turnover. You got 4 or 5 teams with new coaches, new offenses, the whole deal. And I've always felt that it took 4 game films for me to really understand what a defense is all about. So when you got all of these new coaches, these new systems, new ways of doing things, after 5 weeks, that's, to me, when the season really begins. And I don't care how great offenses are, how explosive they are. There always comes a time when the great defensive minds in the game of football begin to figure out what you're doing and come up with a way to minimize it or stop it. And I think that's what you're seeing as the season progresses right now.
Here's another question. Does it drive you crazy that the Dallas Cowboys are figuring it out, appear to have their quarterback, are healthy, have a better defense than Philadelphia, found a star receiver, have a better running back? It looks like Dallas's future is good. Well,
I will always be, I've never liked the Cowboys, and I don't think that ever goes anywhere, but as an analyst, I began to understand and figure out how to be subjective, if you will. And I can look at this team, and when they beat the New Orleans Saints, I was thinking to myself, I said, the Eagles, the Redskins, and the Giants have got some work to do. Because this football team now is positioning itself to be the dominant force in the NFC East. And if they don't figure it out soon, and they don't begin to build their football team to address this soon, then this football team is going to be a problem. Defensively, they're only going to get better.
By the way, outside of Tyron Smith, left tackle, all their stars are young.
Yeah.
Like he's their old star.
And offensively, they are what they are. This team is still driven by Ezekiel Elliott, and you've got to get him under control if you're going to have any chance at beating them. But Amari Cooper brings a completely different dynamic because the way he runs routes, his speed, when you look at him run, you don't think he's really moving, but he's a lot faster than you think. And he's been a major difference maker for this football team in a lot of ways because now you have that guy that when you're running the ball consistently with Zeke and you're making the defense load the box or pay attention to the run, when you go play action pass, you got to worry about that guy. You have to worry about that guy. And just to fast forward, if they go into this draft and they figure out a way to find another wide receiver.
Or a tight end.
Or a tight end that can balance the field, oh my gosh, look out. Look out.
Now let's shift to the Philadelphia Eagles. I myself am a humble man. I do not celebrate well. I hand the ball to the official when the show is over. Joy and I, we do not celebrate. We are professional broadcasters.
Speak for yourself. I throw a party every day after the show.
So Philadelphia won, big parade, wrote a book, videos, endorsements. They are deteriorating. And by the way, I could easily criticize them, but I do think it's hard. They've had a lot of injuries. They came into the year on crutches. I think they have a chance to do something really smart. Carson Wentz is hurt, doesn't need surgery. I don't want him near the field. It's over. I don't want to see Carson Wentz take a snap this year. Am I nuts?
No. And let me start at the beginning. When you have a city who has not won a Super Bowl in the modern Super Bowl era.
Yeah.
57 years since their last championship.
Oh, okay. Lord.
As a football franchise, yeah, they're going to kind of go overboard a little bit with their celebration and their sense of pride in their city. I said going into this season that the Eagles had, a tough hill to climb because the majority of the players on their team had never been in this situation before, where they've been to a Super Bowl, won a Super Bowl, and come back the next year and understand the dynamics that were at work.
You're a target.
You're a target.
Schedule's tougher.
Schedule's tougher. You're the barometer for all teams as the defending Super Bowl champion.
Muhammad Ali got every person's best fight.
Right. And that's what they were facing. Now let's throw onto it, all the other things. Your franchise quarterback is coming off an ACL injury, and he doesn't come back till week 3. Your best wide receiver doesn't come back till week 4. Okay. You got an offseason signing and Mike Wallace on injury reserve. You're counting on Mac Hollins to fill the void also with Wallace. Now that you moved on from Torrey Smith, never practices in training camp, the whole training camp. You lose Jay Ajayi to a season-ending injury.
Yeah, he's a good player.
You got both of your tackles that are nicked up all season long. Jason Peters has I don't even know how the guy's on the field.
I think he's done.
Torn bicep, and he's got a quad injury, but he's a warrior and he's out there. Lane Johnson has been hurt. You've made a switch at left guard. Wisniewski out, Seumalo in. So you got all these dynamics. That's not even to talk about what's going on the defensive side of the ball. 2/3, 3/4 of your whole secondary is on injured reserve.
Yeah, it's a
Darby,
mess.
Mills, McLeod out for the year.
Usually I would say these are excuses, but I've said on this show before, there's a difference between reasons and excuses. Well, the Philadelphia Eagles had reasons, and I agree with you here. Last year, it was the Washington Redskins. Like, literally, the whole line got hurt. Philadelphia walked into this season on crutches, and then their injuries doubled.
Right.
There's just nothing you can do.
And that's just a part of the game.
It is.
That you have to live through. Last year, they had 5 major players that got hurt, yet they found a way to overcome it. You can overcome 5. You can't overcome right now.
11?
I think there's 11 out of 12 potential starters are either on injured reserve or no longer are on the team. You can't, there's no way you can overcome all of that. And, listen, I give them a lot of credit. They get out there and they fight. The Dallas Cowboys, when you look at the numbers.
2 great games.
Listen, if you look at the numbers from that last Dallas Cowboys game, over 500, almost 600 yards worth of offense, if you just purely looked at the numbers and you didn't see the game, you just looked at the stat sheet, 10 of 19 on third down conversions, you would think that the Dallas Cowboys beat them 45-10. Yet they got to overtime. And it took a tip ball with an unfortunate bounce and some help from the 12th guys, I should say.
I will say this. I watched the Cowboys-Eagles. I watched both snaps of both games. And bizarrely, I watched both games again on the NFL Network on flights. I had to fly to Utah a couple times. So I've seen those games 4 times. And I still contend Philadelphia and Dallas, the difference is the back end of Dallas's defense is better because it's healthier. Byron Jones is real, Van Der Esch, Jalen Smith. But those teams are really even. They really are.
And listen to what you're saying. You're saying that these teams are even in the state that the Philadelphia Eagles are in right now. Now, take them when they're 100% healthy and put them up against the same Dallas Cowboys
No. If you told me the next 10 years I had to take one of the 2 teams, I'd take Philadelphia because of Carson Wentz.
Well, see, and okay, there's this running debate in Philadelphia right now about who's the better quarterback.
Oh, good hell. Who is that what the radio jockeys are saying?
No, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of conversation. People are going on, and it's not just in Philadelphia. It's, media people, because I spend a lot of time on Twitter. There's a lot of debate.
They think Nick Foles is better than...
No, they think their position is Dak will be a better future quarterback than Carson Wentz.
No, seriously. Somebody get me an Advil. Come on. Oh, come on. There's 11. In fact, let me look this up. There are 11. Hi, America. I'm looking something up here. Here are quarterbacks that are starting that are 3 years in the NFL or less. These are the 11 guys starting. Goff, Wentz, Mahomes, Dak, Watson, Trubisky, Baker, Darnold, Rosen, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. in my opinion, there is no question Wentz is the best one. Now, Mahomes and Wentz are the two most talented. I prefer Wentz. I think he plays a little more on schedule than Mahomes does, and he looks where he throws. But Wentz is the most talented of those 11, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, listen, the jury is still out on a bunch of those guys. But if just the eye test, in America, I'm speaking on purely an unbiased basis right now. If I just did the eye test and I looked at those 10 quarterbacks and I looked at their skill sets, their ability to read defense, their ability to make the right decisions, their ability to get their teams in and out of the best play, and their competitive nature, well, I'm looking at Carson Wentz as the guy that if I'm starting a team, that's the guy that I want.
No question. Now, Mahomes is Favre, bizarrely, his arm talent's absurd.
Yeah, but the thing I like about Mahomes is, there's a competitive nature to him that you don't teach. That can't be, you either have it or you don't.
Who do you like tonight?
I think when you look
both teams' running backs are a mess.
I know. And therein lies the problem. And I think if you have to look at a defense, and I think that, we were talking about it before we came on air, you give me a great defense over a great offense any day of the week. And as much as people have tried to change the tenor of what NFL football is about and put all the onus over on the offensive side of the ball, we've seen Chicago on Sunday night completely dismantle the LA Raiders. The Rams rather.
Yeah.
And I just think that, I don't think that changes.
Chargers are significantly better on defense.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, Mahomes is going to throw the ball 40 to 50 times tonight.
And maybe more because of the running back situation. Yes, I don't love that.
And can can they protect the quarterback?
I don't think they can.
Can he continue to make big plays down the field?
You know what they're going to look like tonight? Pittsburgh. No running game, and Mahomes and Big Ben throwing over 40 times.
But wait a minute. That's not how you win in the NFL
That's why
anymore.
I like the Chargers have a real shot tonight.
That's not how you win. You know how you win in the NFL now? You throw the ball often and early, you get a lead, and then you run the clock out in the second half by running the ball. That's how you win. That's what, the analytics say. That's what, top football people say right now. Listen, that all sounds fine and dandy when it works out. But what happens when you go 3 and out, interception, and your defense is gassed before halftime? Now, that narrative doesn't work any longer because now you have to continue to throw, which puts defenses in position. As a defensive player, I'm always trying to get a feel at the beginning of the game. Okay, you come out, are they running? Are they passing? Oh, my gosh, they just threw the ball 8 times in a row. I look at my defensive lineman, I'm like, let's go get them. We'll play the run on the way to the quarterback. So now your quarterback is getting beat up. His clock is being sped up, and you've made yourself one-dimensional by doing so if you can't protect your quarterback, and there's guys aren't open down the field.
Best pass rush tonight's the Chargers. I think even with the injuries, the better running game is the Chargers. It'll be a great one. Seth Joyner, good seeing you, bud.
Likewise.
Joy with the news.
No.